Hi everyone, this is Snipe Trading, and I'll be going over some tutorials on thinkorswim on thinkScript. So thinkScript is a free forming scripting where you can create your own indicators, and it's a powerful tool to help you in your trading. So yeah, there's a lot of website out there that try to sell these scripts at a pretty high price. It go range from like $50 to 100 with just a simple script that you can probably write on your own in like 10 minutes. So the purpose of these videos is like a series of thinkorswim script on the most requested. I got asked a lot on what all these means, like in my chart here. So I have the percent close, percent open from the open, the volume, and the average volume. So those are the four I'm going to go over today. And yeah, the main purpose is to kind of be interactive and like write this code together so you can also develop your own coding or indicators in the future. Let's get started here. So I'm gonna reset my chart here to factory just so we can all have the same chart. So this is the factory settings, and I'm just gonna leave it at the 1 minute chart. To start off, there's this glass edit studies icon. You want to click there to start with your studies, and here it's all empty, and what you want to do is click the create button here, and you'll have another window that pops up, and you can either use this kind of condition wizard, or you can go to the ThinkScript editor, which is more free form writing. So on the top here, you can name your study or indicator. So I'm going to name this, stock info, right? Since we're putting percent change in volume. So I'm going to name that stock info, and I'm just going to put YouTube. So right now you can just delete what was there, the default. So the first things I want to explain is there are a few commands. So those are inputs. So input is what the user will input. For instance, if I put input length equals 10, this will be a value that it will get assigned to this length. And I'll go over what these inputs are, but they're user defined and you can change them easily. And you can use these variables within the script itself. So the other thing we're going to use is input. Let's just put period, and this would be what period we're looking into. So if we want to take the volume of the daily, then we would need to do the daily period. Or if you want to do volume of the 15-minute chart, then we can put the 15-minute chart. So the period is you have to put aggregation period, and you can see it shows the different type of period you can choose from, but here we're going to choose day. So when you're writing a script, each line or each function has to end with a semicolon. So just put a semicolon there, and if something is wrong, it will be red. So we have defined those, and the other thing we're going to define is a Boolean variable, which is like a true or false or yes or no. So we're going to put a display label equals yes. So we're going to use these later in the script, but these are kind of define our user input. So if we hit apply, let's see if it lets us. So if you hit apply and you click on this, the inputs will drop down here, but since we haven't write anything yet, it's not going to show. So that's the kind of the basis of our input, where users can define, I want the average of 10 days or the average of 20 days. They can use that as a drop down box. So let's now define some of these variables. So the first thing we want to do is percent change, right? So the percent change is, if you think about it, the percent change is the close of yesterday to the close of today, right? So that percent change. And to get a percent change, you have to take today's close minus previous close divided by previous close times 100 to get the percent. So that's the formula, right? So now we're going to use the define function, and we're going to create a statement here. So we're going to define and then just say change of close, right? Change C, okay? Change close, change C, and then I'll put equal. And then what did we say? We say it's the close of, so when you put the close, it needs to be a period in here. So period, and this is just saying the period is the aggregation period equals day, right? So if I do this, then right now this is the change C is defined as the close of today. But what I want is, so we can substitute this line so we don't have to write it all the time to period. So you can see that this matches this part. So we're going to substitute this as period equals period. And that will just be the same. So we don't have to retype that over and over again. And here we're going to do the period of today. So 0 means current. If you do a 0 in the brackets, it means current. And then, so since we're taking, today current close minus previous close, so we're going to do minus close of period equals period. Since the aggregation period, we're still looking into the day, right? And now we're going to do a previous day, so it would be 1. So what you get here now is current close minus previous close, and that's going to give you the difference, right? So let's put this in parentheses. So that's the difference. But now we want the percent, right? So the percent change. So this is going to be divided by the close of the previous, right? So we can just copy this. Let's copy this statement. So we put the divide as a slash here, and then close, previous close. So now we're gonna take this whole thing and multiply by 100. So that'll give us the percentage. So times 100. So now we have, previous close minus current close, or current close minus previous close divided by previous close times 100. So that's pretty much the formula of the change of today. So let's now add a label, right? So to add a label, we're going to do add label. So this is just a define command, and the first thing it wants is yes or no, which is show variable or no show. So we're gonna put show variable, which is yes here. We're just gonna put display label as the comment, or as a true statement. Yes, I want to display label. And then the next part is what to display. So if I put here like change or change close, right? Percent change, or let's do percent change close, right? And then this will output that, and then you could define a color. So like color is green, and then we can close this, and then parentheses. So if I put this apply, what I'm gonna get is, let's go in here, define labels, So show plot name. So here you can see I type %change and now it's showing up here. So it's more visible. It's like green and you can see it much more clear. But now that's what's inputted. So you want %change close and you can put a comma space. And what you want to add here, so you need a plus sign. So you need plus sign and then you add the variable that you created, which is change C, right? So I'll add change C in here. And let's see what happens now if I hit apply. So if I hit apply, look what happens. You got a negative 2.48. And this is in percentage. But you can see it's still a lot of commas in here. So to fix that, what you need to do is add a rounding figure. So you throw in here round, and then what are you rounding? So round takes a variable, and then you're rounding to the nearest whole number or the nearest 2 decimal places. So I'm going to round to the nearest 2 decimal places. So I put 2 in there. So round this 2, it's going to round to the nearest 2 decimal places. So now if I hit apply, now you got to the nearest 2 decimal places. If you want to kind of shorten this and just round to the nearest, single to the 10th, you put a 1 in there, and look, it's round to the nearest 10th, 2.5. So if you don't care about like hundredths, you can round to the nearest 10th. But here you can see it doesn't have a percent sign, and it'd probably be nice to have a percentage sign. So I'm going to add here, you're going to add another plus, and then just put in quotes %. And then what it's going to do, now it's going to add a percent sign. So that's pretty simple, right? And if I hit OK, apply, OK, I change to a different stock, say like NVIDIA, and now you get this is down negative 3.4%. So there's also conditioning format, which you can do with the color. So maybe you want it to be red when it's negative, right? So to do that, you do an if statement. So you're going to do if change C, right? If change C is less than 0, so it's less than 0, then color is red, else color is green. So color is red. So this is saying if the change is less than 0, then it'll be a red color. Anything else, it will be a green color. So we hit apply here, and you can see this is a negative value. We should see it change red. So now you see that, okay, so now this is red, and then let's go to a stock that is up for today, like CSCW. It's up 18% from the close, and it's green. We go to another one, like Tesla, it is red. So negative 5.1%. So that is how you create percent change in from the close. But now let's copy this, and maybe you want it from the opened, right? So what you want here is, let's copy this. Now we're going to change this to change O for change since the open. So you want since the open. So we're going to change, so we're going to use the close. So it's the current close of the day candle minus, now you want the close, or actually you want the open, right? So we're going to put open of the current candle as well. So what is this telling you? It is telling you the percent change of the close currently minus the open currently, and then you have to divide that by the open currently. So let's change this to the open. So now you got change O is equal to the percent change of the open. So we're gonna just copy this label, and let's add a new one. And let's now just change this to open. Right, percent change open. And then now we're going to change these variable to O, right, to match this new variable that we just created. And let's just use the same thing, same color. And let's see what happens. So, bam. So what do you get? You get two different values. So like if you go to HOFV, it was actually up from the gap, right? So this is 28% up from there. But now you have change from the open, which is negative 22%, which was this open here to here. So that's negative 22%. So now you have percent change of open and then percent change. But maybe you want more info. So maybe you want that average price. So let's define that. So we're going to define, the current volume. Let's just call day volume equals, and that would be the volume, and then you have to put a period, and we're going to use period equals period, and it's going to be the current. So now we have here, we're defining a variable, so you can name this anything you want. I'll name it day volume equals the volume of the current, 0 means the current days period. So the period is the day here, the aggregation. If you don't use an aggregation period, then it will use the current aggregation on your chart. So if you have the 1 minute chart, it will use the volume of the 1 minute chart. So now, since we have that set up, let's go add a label for that volume. So for here, we're going to add a label, display percent. We're going to just put volume here, and we're going to round, volume. We're going to round volume, or it's going to be volume, and then this is actually the day volume, right? Day volume variable, and we're going to round to the nearest number, whole number. And yeah, you can define here, and just hit OK. And now we got a volume, so we actually don't need the percentage sign here, so just remove that. And now we got the volume as 229 million for this. And then since it is not, or change O needs to be changed to day volume. And it should be green. All right. You could do a condition here, like if volume is greater than 100 million, make it green. Else make it cyan, or other statement where you're okay with. So that's how you add volume. And the last thing we're going to do today is adding the average volume. So we're going to do here, let's do average volume equals, and then there's a math function called average, and then you can use the volume here. Let's just copy this, and then so the average, and it's going to tell us use the volume data. We can count the current day, and then take the last 10, we can take the last length, right? And length is defined as 10 here. So this is going to take the length of 10 volumes and take the average of that. So let's do the same thing here and create another label, and then we're going to call this average volume, and we're going to name this, change this to average volume, change this to average volume, and then now you're all set. So if we hit apply, we have the average volume is 84 million. So if you don't want to count the current volume, you would need to, current day volume, you would need to change this to the previous day, and then it'll take the average of the previous day volume. So we hit here, apply, and you can see it drop here drop tremendously because this volume day is actually pushing it up. So you can use that as the volume, and there you have it. You have this called stock info YouTube, and you can click on it and you can change the length. Maybe you want to use, because the length here is defined in the average volume, maybe you want the average volume of 50 days. So you can click here and average 60 million. So it is actually less than 50-day average. And then here's a yes and no that we added. So these are the user inputs. And the period, maybe we want a week. What is that? It doesn't read. But maybe we want, let's see, does an hour work? So an hour works. So this is the data for hourly, right? But yeah, we'll just keep this as day. Maybe we want the average of 20 volume, and we can leave it like that. And then you can change stocks. So let's go CSEW, and you can see the average volume is 6 million. It's way above the average volume today. It had a gap up. It actually lost some at the close, so a gap up. Now you're open here and you close here, so you're down 3%. So it's a good thing here, and you can define your colors as whatever you want. So you can say if the average volume is greater than 10 million, make it green. If it's greater than 50 million, make it cyan. If it's more than 100 million, make it yellow or something. But yeah, so if you enjoy these tutorial, this is going to be my first one. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to be sure you get the latest video. And if you have any indicators or suggestions, leave in a comment and I'll be happy to make a video for you. All right, Snipe Trading signing out. Goodbye.